This introduction has, I think, 4 different elements to it that really make it sound like American Girl, really make it work. Those 4 elements we're going to want to try and capture in some way. What's really going on is they're playing a D power chord suspended over top of the chord progression from the first part of the verse. So we have a D power chord suspended over D, E, okay, so that's 3 components. The 4th element, of course, is the bass playing the melody for the introduction that we all recognize. So there are those 4 elements. Can we put them all together? I think we sort of can. She was an American girl. Into the verse. And then we have, after all, it was a great big world. That's A to D. With lots of places to run to, G to E minor 7. So that's what we have. We've got the chords. Now, what are we going to play to accompany our singing in that section of the song? First of all, we have to carry the rhythm. We know that. We've already seen that this pattern here can sort of simulate the drums, dum to dum to dum. So that's probably a good idea to do, to simulate the drums and carry the rhythm of the song along. So we can maybe do that. But, well, what if we just played the chords in more or less root position with that rhythm and sang? How would it sound? Let's see. Well, she was an American girl, raised on promises. She couldn't help thinking that there was a little more. We're playing too many notes. We're playing the D 3 times and the A twice. It's totally unnecessary. Too many notes, root position, straightforward. It's boring and it's masking the vocal. Even though we're carrying the rhythm, it's really not working. The vocal's buried in all that mud somewhere. So for this song, especially since it's sort of in a muddy part of the piano and we've tuned it down 3 semitones as well, we're going to play as few notes as we possibly can while carrying that rhythm. In fact, I'm only going to play a maximum with my right hand of 2 notes at any given time, and we're going to add some passing notes. So, what if we did something like this? She was an American girl, raised on promises. She couldn't help thinking that there was a little more life somewhere else. After all, it was a great big world, lots of places to run to. Yet if she... This is what I'm doing in that section. Sus chord there. Do it again. Slight variation. Now straight A. A again, D power, G power chord, E minor 7. Now that's fewer notes, some passing notes. So I'm playing very, very little pedal, a tiny, tiny bit of pedal, super short staccato, accenting when I'm not singing. Well, she was an American girl, raised on promises. So that accenting when I'm not singing really helps it sort of move and bounce. Now, what we haven't done is added a bass line, and of course the bass plays a huge role in this song. The bass is moving all over the place. It's moving, tying the chord progression together, driving the chord progression forward, and the bass is actually also adding fills in between the vocal phrases. So the bass really plays a big role in this. You should listen to it in the original recording and see for yourself. It's doing something like this. It varies, but it's kind of like this. G, way, way, way more interesting. Now, that's a little harder to do and sing at the same time. In terms of practicing this, what I would suggest, this is what I had to do actually, and it really helped. I would try and play it just with the straight root notes first in the left hand, super, super slowly with that right hand pattern, and see if you can play it with a metronome, and gradually, once you can coordinate the vocal and the playing, build up the tempo, and see if you can play it musically just using that pattern. Well, she was an American girl. Because it should sound quite fun already just with that before we add the bass line. For the bass line, you can practice it independently. Just to sort of make sure you learn what the notes are. Notice the kind of the touch there. Again, there's a staccato note that really helps the rhythm, I think, of that. Again, that's why we don't want too much pedal. We really want to hear those attacks on the notes, and it kind of moves along. Now, you don't want to overdo the bass and exaggerate it. It'll sound corny, but if you do it just sort of steady, balance it with the vocal, it's going to sound really good, and it's really, really fun, actually, to sort of sing a line and answer it with a bass line afterward. You should try it. Okay, so we arrive at the killer hook for the song, the part that's sort of, it's really what makes the song the song. It's the great lyrics that we get. Mike Campbell's favorite part of the song, he said in a video at some point. Like waves crashing on a beach, and for one desperate moment there, he crept back in her memory. God, is so painful, something that's so close and still so far out of reach. Oh yeah, alright, take it easy, baby, make it last all night. Well, she was an American girl. We're going to play an identical rhythmic pattern, same idea, very, very light. In fact, what I found is going even lighter with the accompaniment so you can really, really emphasize the vocal. The vocal is what you want to be hearing there. Just hold absolutely steady with what we're doing with the piano, nothing fancy at all there. Because we're going to break the G. That's how I play it, and I find that makes it easier to sing, and it's really fun, and see what you think. All right, coming out of the second verse, after the second hook, we go right into the funky little bridge. Let's just show you how I play it. There's different ways you can play it. It's something like this. The thing is, it goes to a G7, which is weird because the 4 chord doesn't normally appear in a dominant 7 format. That's why it sounds a bit funny. Anyway, G7, just something like this. Do that. All right, all that's left for us now to do is to find a way to end this song. In the studio version, they sort of vamp out for a while, don't they? They kind of go crazy, go up and up and up, sort of go off into the atmosphere. It goes on for a minute or so. It's great. We all love it. They go into outer space. Now, that works on the studio recording. This is an acoustic cover. Do we want to do that? I'm not sure that's going to work. Sometimes for an acoustic cover, what works well is to go the opposite direction sometimes to make it a bit surprising and a bit more suitable for a cover. So that's one thing to think about. Also, if we're going to end this song, it might be a time to ask that age-old question when we're trying to sing a song. What is the song about in our minds? What are we trying to express or say with the song? Now, I don't know. I don't pretend to have a mind meld into Tom Petty's brain. I don't know exactly what he had in mind. But for me, it's pretty simple. This is a song about a short, beautiful, tragic life. That's it. That's what the song is about. That's what I think about when I listen to the song and when I'm playing the song. So if that's the case, what could we do for the ending that might work? Well, we did the humming thing at the beginning. Maybe it might be nice to sort of tie it together with that humming again at the end. And we just came out of that bridge. We're down here in the piano. What if we did the same introduction pattern, but down in this low octave? It actually sounds really cool. It's really quite moody. End the song right there. Surprise ending. That's one way to do it. Another thing you can do that I actually do that I like is to do that, but then one more surprise is to make reference to that awesome Mike Campbell lick from the studio recording when he goes up high with his guitar and does this kind of thing. Right, reaching for the stars, the desperation of his young life, the tragedy of it, and then we end it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, thumbs up would be much appreciated. Thanks for watching. Been a lot of fun. We'll see you in the next video.